This is a weird challenge. Oh boy.
No way.
A warm welcome to the first ever show in the Take studio, coming to you from Oslo, Norway. And we start with a bang, joined by, I'm gonna call him the most famous Norwegian in the world. He's got a Wikipedia profile in 90 languages. That is one more even than the Norwegian king. You know him as a 17-time world chess champion, but today, we're going to focus on him as a successful entrepreneur and businessman. So Magnus Carlsen, welcome to, I'm going to say, your studio, and congratulations on the launch of Take.
Thanks a lot. Like, that's the best introduction I've ever had. I can say that hands down.
I thought you were introducing me.
Well, I couldn't find any Wikipedia profiles on you, Mats, but Magnus Carlsen, he is definitely an MVP in the business world. He is now co-founding his second company, still only in his 30s. He is the visionary CEO of Take, a big chess fan for many years. And now building this app, launching this app, which will give all chess fans one home, one place to follow top chess mats.
Yeah, it's very exciting and fantastic to be here and the start of this. Can't wait to show everyone.
And I feel we need a big launch. We're going to officially open. Magnus, if you would do the honors of officially opening the Take studio. And there we are. Take off. Finally, it's so good to finally have Take out in the world, available for all of you to download. And we're going to talk to these two co-founders. I'm going to quote one of the investors who said, "At this point, the investors are mostly betting on Carlsen and Christiansen. We look for team and founders with unfair advantages. And this is such an unfair advantage with their combined background." We obviously know Magnus's background as the highest rated chess player of all time, but Mats, what is your background?
Yeah, so my background is a little bit more whimsical. I did not know at the age of 5 what I was good at and could devote my life to. But I was very curious, so I was dismantling every electronic appliance in the houses of my family and rebuilding them, and eventually I discovered computers and building computers. Actually, I started my first company when I was 14 years old, selling computers to neighbors and friends of my parents, and then discovered the internet, started programming, designing, building websites for myself and others. And I think this led me to sort of eventually starting and building companies. So as you mentioned, I started something called Oda, which is an online grocery company. Actually, the first startup in Norway to ever be coined a unicorn. And then...
Meaning, for everyone who's not in the business
Meaning
world?
that you are valued at $1 billion,
wow.
Which was a big thing. And then we expanded to several other countries. And eventually I figured that I wanted to do something else. And then I met Magnus and his former manager, Espen, and we started talking about chess, and we got into this fantasy chess project. And so this started as a fantasy project, and it's still a fantasy project, but we figured out that we needed to build that home for all the chess players to follow chess. So this was based sort of on my insight as well as a chess fan, that I never knew when Magnus was playing. I often kind of found Magnus playing midway in a tournament.
Yeah.
I was used to NRK here in Norway broadcasting the World Championship in a very sort of accessible way. I've watched hundreds of hours of chess content, especially in sort of learning chess. That's great. But following the top tournaments and the broadcasts, they are often sort of by GMs for GMs, and the NRK broadcast was really not that. So I thought that's a potential, and yes, we're trying to build that home for the chess fans.
And you are then a chess fan more than a chess player?
Definitely a chess fan. I'm not a professional chess player. I'm learning every day, trying to get better, but I'm first and foremost a chess fan.
Yeah. And Magnus, you are also a second-time founder. Play Magnus, it grew quite big, bought companies such as Chess24, Chessable, then you sold it to chess.com, and here you are again with Take, Take, Take. So what's different this time around?
The idea is a little bit different since Play Magnus was mostly built around playing chess on an app, and eventually we expanded into a lot of areas, but still a lot of it was based on playing and learning. So this is more based around content. So this is like a little bit different. So for me, this started simply by wanting to build a fantasy game for chess. We met Mats, and suddenly, you know, the ideas were very different. It's about all these other things you can do, what the chess world has been sort of has been missing. And I've been even seeing tweets from grandmasters like Vidit and Ishkiri, like literally in the last 24 hours. And they don't know what's going on in this project, like asking for exactly what we want to offer. And imagine if top grandmasters even feel that they don't have this platform. I think casual fans, all of them who want to follow chess but don't necessarily want to sit there for hours. They want to go like in and out, check an app on their phone, know what's going on, see the stats and so on. I think it's I think this is quite exciting.
I know, about time, right? And I've been working in chess for 10 years, and I've been a chess fan for many years, and it's so difficult to find out when you play Magnus. I know you play a tournament, and then, okay, I need to find out what time it starts. I want to know the results from yesterday. And it's almost impossible. So
you need to convert the time zones. Like it's incredibly difficult to understand.
Right?
Like, where is this tournament? What time zone? What does that mean? And for many people around the world, chess is such a global phenomenon. So you need to tune in the mornings and in the afternoons, and they can play at very random times.
Yeah.
So.
It's definitely something that's needed. So Mats, what is this? What is Take, Take, Take? What do people get when they download the app? What's the plans for the company?
Yeah, so it's, as you said, it's going to be a home for the fans. So when I download the app, I could follow all my favorite players. So I could follow Magnus, but I could also follow Levy or Anna Kramling or those top sort of content creators. And I can follow these people and players in the app, and I could get notified when they are playing a tournament. I could learn more about the profiles and the players that, for example, Magnus are facing, which is maybe completely unknown for me. I could then look at the head-to-head stats to see where Magnus' strengths are compared to his opponent. And then, of course, the chess viewing experience is going to be much simpler than anything that's been out there. You could open a chessboard, you could get text comments on all the moves that explains the ideas behind the move. You could add several different filters on the chessboard. So you could add emojis that shows the sort of the feeling of the piece, like, am I in a good place? Could I be in a better square? You could see the 3 best moves at all times. You could add heat maps. So you could add all of these filters and layers in chess that could make it more understandable or more exciting for you to follow. Yeah. So that's the basics. And then we're bringing in the fantasy part of it as well. Awesome. So there will be a kind of a simpler fantasy game than what we initially tested a year ago. But you will be able to choose a piece on the board that you want to have on your team. And you can follow that piece throughout the game. And it will get points based on the moves and the captures. And you can then have different pieces from your family or friends. And you can compete in leagues and see who's the best fantasy chess player.
Cool. So it's going to be like, no, don't take the white queen.
Exactly,
You're going to be actually rooting for the pieces.
Not this opening where all the pieces are exchanged. So I think this will bring that extra dimension to it. But I think that's great. But really, this foundation of just kind of following a player and getting notified when Magnus plays, that's something the chess world have been lacking, and it's really critical to get in place before you build anything on top of it.
Yeah, but you did mention fantasy chess. What's the initial plan, goal for you, Magnus, to have that? You're already pretty hooked on chess. Now you can play fantasy chess.
It's going to be great for me. Maybe not as good for people around me that I will have yet another game
exactly.
to spend a lot of time on. But I think these are going to be tools that are going to be both fun and useful for players of every level, including my own.
Yeah. You mentioned all these features.
One thing though, Kaya, because it's not just an app, right? You're here. We're in this studio. So we will, of course, create a lot of content as well to help people stay up to date on tournaments. Like halfway through a tournament, what is the standings? Like what's the form of the different players, and get the interviews and the insights. So I think it's not just about the app, but that's why I sort of call it a platform, because we have... It's like media and technology together, and this is what every serious sport needs, and this is what we're trying to bring to chess and elevate the experience to a certain level of sport.
Definitely.
Now, Magnus came from the Global Chess League. Now there was some talk about chess being not so serious as a sport, but that's what we're trying to achieve, at least on the viewing side.
We are, and that's why it's so cool to have the studio as well, right? There's so much happening in chess, and everyone who's been following chess for the past few years know that there's been a lot of drama. How cool to be able to go into the studio and just talk about the drama happening, and also to be out there. I really believe that it's super important to get to know the players, because chess is a sport. And why do people watch sports? It's because it's emotions, and you root for someone and you hate someone. So we need to, I think, also present the players, and that's one of my main plans in this company in terms of content. I want to get a little bit back to all the features that you talked about, Mats. One of them will be emojis.
Yes.
What on earth is emojis doing in a chess app?
Yeah, this idea just came from basically a lot of us in the company are chess fans and amateur players, right? And what we've learned following chess is that a chess piece could be placed in a good square, or in a good square, or in a bad square. And in that way, you should be able to understand how the piece is feeling. Like, am I feeling great? Like I'm totally dominating the board. I can be in the center and see all the other pieces. Or am I terribly placed, like a bishop standing behind a pawn that can never move, and that's a bad bishop? So the idea was to bring this language, this multi-country, like global emoji language, to the board and explain to the viewers if a piece is placed in a good square or in a bad square. And that hopefully is an entertaining way of following chess.
Yep.
Yeah, and I gotta say that this is not a new idea in chess. So we're basically just having a sort of a modern touch on an old idea. In the Soviet chess school taught you back in the day that you should talk to your pieces.
Yeah.
Before you make a move, you talk to your pieces. Are you happy with this move? Is this something that you would tolerate? Let's say you move a pawn and you ask the bishop next to it, like, did you really enjoy this move? Is this something that you feel happy about? So I think this is it's just makes things a bit more understandable, but still, sticking to a core idea of what playing chess is about.
Yeah.
That's really great insight. I felt I took part in the Soviet chess school right now. Are you still talking to your pieces, or?
Well, I don't do it actively
Literally,
in the sense that, because I know intuitively, but I'm quite wary of that. Sometimes I will not make a move because there's this saying, if you have one bad piece, your whole position is bad, right? So certain times you can actually go for positions where you have one really weak piece, but still your position might be good. So there are always nuances to that, but I think every good chess player does that unconsciously.
It's a great sort of beginner's advice.
Yeah, it's a little bit like another advice, if you don't know what to do, improve your unhappiest piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly, yeah. David Howell taught me that because I often, at my level, struggle at some point after the opening to make the next move. I feel, oh, this is perfect. And if I move a piece now, I'm just going to ruin it. So he said, talk to your pieces and ask which one is the most unhappy right now. And that actually helped me a lot.
Often, like, you've developed 3 or 4 pieces. You know, there's a knight and a bishop in the corner, and you're carried away. I usually like call it just chasing shiny objects.
Yep, heard that.
So yeah.
We tend to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, chess players at all levels do that, but you know, with varying degrees, of course.
Yeah. Well, this emoji feature, we've actually tested it. We gave Magnus and Levy Rozman GothamChess a complex position on the board, and we asked them to tell us who is best, who is worst, white or black, in this position using emojis. Take a look.
This is the entire keyboard of emojis.
This is a weird challenge. You have this bishop that is feeling like this, maybe?
I think the white king is feeling spooked.
Why have I been mistreated this way, you know?
He eats healthy and gets good sleep. That's why he has so much energy to play chess.
This is the only white piece that is actually well placed.
Guys.
It's just been abandoned. It's very, very sad.
King is napping.
Dude, I'm getting chased around.
Rook is happy to just be here.
Yeah.
All right, so that's emoji chess. Magnus, you were a little bit skeptical when the challenge came to you, but it was kind of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fun, and going through this really makes you think about every single piece. Like, what are good pieces? What are bad pieces? What can apparently bad pieces do? Because like the reality is often a bit more complex, and yeah. It was fun.
Yeah. And then we have to address Levy Rozman.
Yeah.
Why is he here? He is actually a partner and ambassador for Take. Why did we feel that he was such a good fit, Mats?
I think Levy is a great communicator and has a great way of conveying chess to us amateurs. I mean, Levy is one that I've followed particularly long and watched a lot of his videos. And I think there's also a great chemistry between Magnus and Levy. So
yeah. And we did sit down with Magnus and Levy and had a long conversation about the future of chess. So let's hear what Magnus and Levy together talked about. Do you, Levy, think chess is fun and entertaining to watch today?
Yes and no. If you get past the learning curve, then it's enjoyable. But the problem is getting past the learning curve. So it's very difficult to turn it on and understand what's happening. Also, for some reason, it's one of the only activities where we put the casters on the screen, because otherwise there's not much movement. In most sports, there's movement. You see a ball, you see a net, you see something, but in chess, you see, 2 people sitting and thinking generally. It's quite nice to be me because I get to, wait for 4 hours of a show to finish to put it into a 30-minute package. But that's how a lot of sports highlight shows also operated. I've tried to make chess fun to watch by covering low elo chess, for example. It's one of my most beloved series. And again, the unique perspective is you would never watch 2 people who suck at a sport play a sport. It just doesn't make any sense. You would get bored. But in chess, it's hilarious because you can sort of see yourself making the same mistakes. And there's a lot of unique elements to chess, but I think there's still a big room for improvement.
Yeah. It's probably one of the biggest sports in terms of players. So why are there so few viewers, Magnus? What do you think?
I think chess has obvious limitations as a sport, but we've seen that in Norway that people were captivated by classical chess at first, which I didn't completely understand, but then more by a rapid and especially blitz. Most people, they sort of will not understand all that's going on, but it's like it's fast-paced, non-stop action, and people are sitting there like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, maybe I understand what's going on. No, I don't understand what's going on. But like, this is exciting. But also for slower chess, we can make it much more exciting by offering win probability and like computer win probability, like, and more like actual human win probability. Because if people like watch a game and they see, oh, this is 0-0, this is probably going to be a draw, and we can show them that. No, because one side needs to find one particular move. Like, this is a lot more complicated. that's exciting for longer forms of chess.
A lot of sports put up really cool graphics like heat maps, breakdowns of where a ball is going generally most of the time, like whether a person prefers a backhand or a forehand, etc. So there is a way to do this in chess where while there's a board, you make very nice animations to highlight an area of the board, for example. Now everybody knows that they need to look in that direction, and that's because otherwise it's just arrows, it's just calculation, and then 10 hypothetical moves into the future, there's some, something that may or may not happen.
And that's why we have Levy here as well, who knows more than most people about growing the numbers in chess.
And Levy, you're also the expert on recaps. You're the king of doing recaps, and we're so excited that you guys will actually be doing recaps together for the upcoming World Championship match. So for you, Levy, to do it together with Magnus, what will that be like?
It's going to be fun just asking Magnus questions like, if you would be playing right now, would you be the champion? So
I gotta say, from a purely chess perspective, this match is probably more open and interesting than what we've seen for a long time. We have two players whom we have no idea what to expect from. And that's not something you get in a World Championship normally. And right now we have no idea how strong Ding is going to be. He played a tournament recently where he showed very clearly that he knows how to play. But he also showed that his mindset is not there, because he kept trying to force draws from favorable positions, and that's usually a pretty clear sign that your confidence is not there. Then on the other hand, if he just gets one game. Like if he just wins one game, maybe that will do wonders for him, and he can be back to some of his previous levels, because we've seen Gukesh be quite vulnerable as well. It's not just a game. It's a sport.
and it's time, it felt like one.
The anticipation.
The intensity, the fire.
Participate. Get closer to the action.
Feel every move.
Live every moment.
What do I do now?
No, not that move. That was so great.
The game's not changed.
But the experience has.
There's no going back.
So take, it's out there. And what we've been talking about today as well is the plans for the app, the features. I guess someone will say, Magnus, that we are sort of dumbing down chess. How do you, as a grandmaster, feel about that?
I think every chess fan should have a choice, you know? And the way we are presenting chess, we're also offering a lot of information that is not necessarily available anywhere else. So I think we're making life easier for everybody, and we're making it more accessible. If that's what you call dumbing it down, then I think we'd be very, very happy about that. And as a chess fan, sometimes I do prefer something a little more lighthearted. For instance, in the Champions Chess Tour, I've often preferred watching the show with you and David and others, rather than like the separate GM stream, because like it's got more of, you know, it's got sort of a more wholesome vibe to it. It's more like a relaxing experience.
Yeah. And I have to say, you know, at my level, again, I say this a lot, but notation is a problem. It's very hard to follow chess commentary when there's long lines of notation. You're a little bit of a better chess player than me, Mats, but if I ask you now to point out F6.
Yeah, I think this maybe is the F, and then maybe like here.
Right.
But the fact that you have to think, you know,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is like
yeah.
for most people, right? So when
most people have to go like, so it's there.
Exactly.
It's not like, for me, like my it takes a millisecond and it goes there. But like it's a language I learned as a child. For most people, it's not natural. And spoiler alert, we did a little bit of a test.
Yeah.
And it is remarkably easy to commentate chess without using a lot of notation. You can just use more general expressions and you will end up conveying more or less the same information.
Yeah, well, he said it. We did challenge Magnus to commentate on a very exciting game from the 2022 World Blitz Championship. He wasn't allowed to use notation, and if he did, it would be painful. Take a look. So if you do say a notation,
oh boy,
Levy will be able to shock you.
I can say king side, queen side.
Oh yes, that's not a notation.
Oh boy.
Levy, this is the button you push.
So this is the game Carlsen report. We've had a French defense, very exciting here. The knight sacrifices. In the middle, what will we see? Will we see a check here with the pawn? I think we will see a check with the pawn, maybe also a rook sacrifice. Oh, that was a blunder. Magnus takes a pawn, but now he's losing the position. The queen comes back into the game. And what is Magnus going to do now? He's down a minute on the clock and he cannot see anything very clear. He has to try and win that pawn in the middle to open up for his bishop. What has he done? Oh, he sacrificed the rook! Oh, it seems the game is equal now. What is going on here? Magnus takes the knight with the bishop, moves the bishop back. His king has to go for a walk now. He's losing a rook, but does he have attacking chances against the black king? Rapport is leaning forward. He's up by a minute. He seems to have an objective advantage, but he's not quite sure what to do. He gives a check. Magnus moves up. That was the only legal move. Rapport takes the rook, and now the position is equal again. This is anybody's game now. This is tremendously exciting.
Awesome. No shocks.
Yeah, that was. I was like falling asleep. I was like.
Good job, Magnus. You really prove it's not that hard to commentate on chess without using a bunch of notations.
It wasn't too painful.
Yeah,
it
wasn't painful at all. But it has to be said that this was a game that I've lived and experienced, so it made it a little bit easier, but it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Anyway, something else that happened in our talk with Levy and you there, Magnus, was drunk chess. Levy Rozman once asked Magnus how many beers it would take for Magnus to drink for Levy and I am to be able to beat Magnus. Magnus's answer was 20 beers, so we figured out, let's test it. Can Levy Rozman beat drunk Magnus Carlsen?
No way. But he's not actually drunk, which is, as long as he finds the right piece, he should be fine. We're about to put Magnus Carlsen himself to the test. He once told me in an interview that he could beat me in a chess game 20 beers deep. He's got some beer goggles with him that are going to simulate drinking 20 beers.
Oh, this is awful. I have played at times where I've been really drunk and like now I cannot actually see the board. And this feels quite similar.
Shall we?
Yes. Oh boy.
Okay, do you know what move you just played?
I think I've played E4.
He's moving every piece very accurately. Wow, it's like so methodical.
Yeah, I feel like I have to show that I'm not drunk. How much time have I used? This is so unpleasant.
So we need to make him actually drink the 20 beers next time, all right? He's not going to be so eloquent.
Oh, I feel like that was very close to the edge of the board.
No, it's good. You succeeded.
Okay. That is a clever try. I somehow have this reputation now that people just think I'm drunk all the time. It's very annoying.
We got there, yeah, we got there.
I mean, my hands feel weird.
So I have 30 seconds and you have more than double time. I will have to start playing faster. This is bad. Okay.
Look how safe my king is.
Let's see if I can just play instantly and beat you on time. Oh, I was really hoping you forgot about that somehow.
Is there a mate?
You have 38 seconds to figure this out.
Yes, always advance with your king when you're in trouble.
Yeah. You're 5 seconds.
It's mates.
No! Oh my god!
Okay, thank you.
I shouldn't have told him. It was so close. Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh my. Wow. Yeah, there's 128 squares.
Yeah.
Instead of
No,
64.
it's
That was a lot of fun. You were able to win the game, Magnus. What was it like to play with drunk goggles?
With 2 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, it was. It was not fun. Well, it was fun, but it was hard. Yeah, I haven't had a drink of alcohol for a long time, you know, that was a reminder of like being a little bit tipsy, and it's at that point it was hard to see the board.
Well, there is something called the 96% vodka. You didn't drink that, but you played with 96% accuracy over actually that in this game. It's quite impressive.
Well, I'm more concerned about the accuracy of where I was placing the pieces on the board.
That was a little bit shaky.
That was a little bit more difficult, but
How confident were you at the end that you would actually find the mate with like just a few seconds on the clock? And obviously the hardest thing was to move the pieces to the right square.
yeah, I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. I was just like trying to move the pieces, and then whatever happens, happens.
Thank you everyone for watching the very first episode. In the Take studio, we will be back with a new episode very shortly, and that one is going to be a Ding Liren exclusive. He is definitely struggling now, the world champion, and he is getting ready to play Gukesh, who is on fire in the world championship match. We met Ding Liren exclusively in a restaurant, and we got to ask him questions about how he's really doing. So follow us in the next episode. We'll see you soon. I think the whole chess world is wondering, how are you?
Not so bad, also not so good.